The transatlantic alliance is at risk. The US Europe alliance is at risk. The US and Europe military alliance is at risk. The US and current government is urging from Europe and from NATO countries they to increase your annual spending, they to give money to NATO, they to set aside your budget 5% for NATO. Then NATO will be there. Otherwise, the US is hinting to be backed. The US is hinting to leave the NATO. The US is considered a powerful country in the NATO. The Germany, the France, the UK and other countries are powerful, but their annual budget spending is not more than 3% and it is below. The French annual spending is below than 3%. The Germany annual spending in NATO is below than 3%. Only the US, the country like Poland, are spending up to 4% in NATO. And now the business mind people are in the cabinet of the Donald Trump. The Elon Musk is there and they are hinting about to leave. They are urging the Europeans, they are urging the 32 member bloc to increase your annual spending up to 5%.
Countries that don't pay.
Well, I think it's common sense, right? If they don't pay, I'm not going to defend them. No, I'm not going to defend them. I got into a lot of heat when I said that. He said, oh, he's violating NATO. And you know, the biggest problem I have with NATO, I really, I mean, I know the guys very well. They're friends of mine. But if the United States was in trouble and we called them, we said, we got a problem, France, we got a problem, a couple of others I won't mention. Do you think they're going to come and protect us? They're supposed to. I'm not so sure.
So why stay in NATO at all?
I view NATO as potentially good, but you gotta.
And now the Europe is thinking. The countries like Germany, the France, the UK, the Italy are thinking about they to increase the annual spending and to strengthen the alliance. But it seems that the US will be backed. The Donald Trump will be backed. And in future, the US will set aside from the same alliance. The Russia will be happy. The Putin will be happy. The Putin invaded on Ukraine because Ukraine and Vladimir Zelensky was struggling to enter into the same alliance. He was thinking about the same alliance that will save his country, that will save his country from the nearby Russia and from the aggression of Putin. The Putin invaded on Ukraine and still he is targeting his infrastructure. The innocents are dying. The Ukraine destroyed, but still Vladimir Zelensky is to negotiate and to end the war and not able to end the war. And he is insisting to enter into NATO. But the same alliance strength will be decreased, will be no more when US is no more. In same scenario, the ex-government of US provided 66 billion US dollar in form of aid, in form of weapons, in form of missiles, tanks, military support. The Europe provided money. The Europe provided weapons, aid and everything to Vladimir Zelensky to defend itself, to protect itself from Russia's aggression. But now the US is urging the Europeans to spend more and more, to set aside of your annual budget up to 5% for the NATO spending and to depend on itself and not rely on others. The US is no more to save you. You have to save yourself. The Donald Trump strategy is that. The Elon Musk strategy is that. And in future, he will pull himself back. He is hinting about to leave. He is urging support from Westerns. At the moment, the Germany is spending not more than 3% of its annual budget. Similarly, the France is same. The UK is same. The United States of America annual spending in NATO is just more than 3%. The annual spending of Poland is less than 5%. And Donald Trump is urging from 32 member bloc every country to spend up to 5% of your annual budget in the NATO. What I said that the NATO is at risk means the 75-year-old bloc is at risk. The NATO strategy policy was when in any of the NATO countries someone attacks or demands its sovereignty, the other countries will support them. The whole NATO alliance will support and will defend. That's why Ukraine was there to enter into NATO and to save itself and to issue a security guarantee. But the Russia, the Putin invaded on Ukraine and not bear the inclusion of Ukraine in the NATO. And now the Putin will be happy. The Putin will be happy when the NATO alliance strength is decreasing, when the influence of the NATO in the region is decreasing, when the US pull back itself from NATO means NATO is no more what the Russia consider, what the Putin consider, what the China consider, and other world consider. Then the NATO will be no more powerful, and Putin will be happy, and the struggles of Vladimir Zelensky and Ukraine will be helpless and will not give result. Now the Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, to negotiate with Putin and to not depend on itself on US, on Europeans and others, and to think about the people of the Ukraine and to negotiate and to end the war. The future will decide that the US to be back from NATO or not. But it seems that the current government, the Donald Trump government, is not more interested. The Elon Musk is no more interested in the NATO such alliance. And the Europeans are thinking about the securities. The Europeans are thinking to protect itself, to make a force, to make a border force, and to defend itself, not rely more on NATO and other blocs. What do people think? Write down your opinion in the comment section. I will meet you in the next video. Bye bye.